This video is for real lubrication and maintenance of the 4-inch raised pillar, whether Platewind or S-handle. To lubricate this reel, it only needs to have the check gear and gears lubricated. It has sealed bearings, so the maintenance is fairly low. The way to tell which side to lubricate on is fairly easy. It's whatever side has the thumb screw on. The off side does not need to be lubricated. In the case of the Platewind, this could be on either side. If these handles were on the right, obviously it'd be over on this side. In the case of the S handle, whether it's right or left, the thumb screw is always on the off side of the reel, or opposite side of the handle, just so obviously this fixed plate doesn't have to be exposed. So in the case of this S handle, the back plate would come off, and the reel I'm going to show you how to lubricate, just because it'll show up here on video better, is this left hand dual handled Platewind I have. I just use a loonie, and when you back this screw out, it lifts the faceplate out. It's got a captive screw, and that helps it clear it. Once it's all the way out, you can take the faceplate off. It's got a square broach in there, and be reminded, this back plate or faceplate, it's got a two-ball snowman. Basically, the captive screw slides into the big hole and then moves over to the center, and that's what allows it to lift up or down. The way I like to do it is, once the reel is open, as you can see, this one is fairly clean, I just take some Kleenex and wipe it down, clean it out, keep any grime or dirt or sand, or if it's too dirty, if there's a bunch of sand or grit in there, I'll rinse it out with water. It doesn't take much to keep a reel maintained over the year, unless you're fishing 100 days a year. I think once a year would be more than adequate. I use Super Lube synthetic grease, and I distinguish with this one with PTFE or Teflon. This grease holds up really nicely. It's a little bit transparent, as you can see, but viscosity doesn't seem to change with heat or cold weather. I actually extrude mine into a syringe. This happens to be one that dentists use, and I simply take and put grease on the gears. I just go around them. Now in this case, this one is set to left-hand wind. This reel can have this idle gear in either position, which would allow the thumb screw to be right or left. But anyhow, I just extrude some grease in. You can spin it around and make sure you get it on the spots that we're contacting. And then I also take the spring, lift the spring up, and put a touch between the pawl and the spring. And that's really it. Once it's cleaned out and re-lubed, I line the square broach up on the faceplate or back plate, start the screw with my fingers, and as far down as it'll go, I'll do it by hand, and then I'll use the loonie tighten it up, and that's all there is to it. Back in business.